VPN at technophilespodcast.com. I'm David Geisler, and this is the Technophiles Podcast. Hey everybody, we are back. This is episode 299, part 2. Everybody's really excited to be back, I can see. Let's see, we just got done in part 1 talking about the Facebook live stream from the International Space Station, which is very exciting. Mm-hmm. And now we are talking about VLobs. We've got 2 artificial intelligence stories coming up now.
Yeah.
We have yours about like the art version and then like the lawyer version, the law version.
Yeah, those 2. Not fun when they cross. Not always.
Or amazing. Maybe it's a lawyer who like.
I mean, it's an AI, right? If we just, it can do. It'll be able to do everything.
I just must get away from the stress.
You just flip a switch. You just physically like, oh, I'm so sick of my lawyer. Like,
dude,
play Mozart.
No, my AI has duality, you know? Yeah. My AI has balance. It's a lawyer by day and an artist by night.
Mm-hmm. I really enjoy my AI.
Beautiful. It's living a double life.
Let's hear about this AI robot, but I really want to ask first, let's just get silly for a minute. How far away do you guys think we are before we have our AI assistants that are like legit AI assistants? You think it's 5 years? You think it's 10?
I reckon 10.
Yeah, I think 10's a solid.
Wait, what do we say? Now,
I'm not talking about robots walking, literal robots walking next to us,
companions.
But an entity.
Like in your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Allo and Duo are like, Google just announced this stuff, right?
Right, exactly.
I think we're like 3 years away. Yeah. I'm not even joking.
So I was feeling 5. Jake says 3, I have 5.
I said 10.
Was conservatively saying more. 10.
I don't think effectively.
I think your robot overlord will be laughing at you in 10 years and replaying you saying this. Be like, remember, as it pokes you. They were, unrelated to the AI stuff, but they were talking about how they're now teaching robots how to feel pain.
Oh, that's why?
It's really a good idea.
Wow. Yeah, I guess so.
It doesn't break itself. It can detect temperatures. Like, it can do a lot of different things if it knows pain. But,
that is a point.
Yeah, not emotional pain. That's a completely
really
different
scary.
algorithm.
Yeah.
Seriously, it is.
I'll get to that later.
So, music making robots.
Music making robots. Well, it's not necessarily robots, but it's AI. So Google.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, whatever.
Slip
Google.
The old flesh bag.
Being a sassy flesh bag. So Google has been tinkering with AI for a good while now.
What?
Yeah, crazy, right?
No way.
So they made the TensorFlow system, the open source. I almost called it Open Horse.
I thought you were gonna say Open Horn.
It's an open source AI. And it did the Deep Dream project.
Oh, right.
If you remember that thing where they taught the AI how to perceive and then see.
V, I think you brought that as a story about a year ago on the show.
I did. It was the one where the AI would look at a picture of like a horizon and clouds, but it had been looking at pictures of dogs like a lot. So when it looked at the clouds and when it looked at the skyline, it was like, that cloud's a dog, that cloud's a dog, that one's a snail. And it became this
Maybe
weird...
you saw this, Jake, in the news in general, but it was kind of like, imagine
lots
like
of
face
eyes.
detection just amped up by 1 million. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it was like object recognition. And then they were giving it random things to look at. So instead of something that kind of looks like a face already and being like, oh, look, it found it, it's a face. It was like giving it the opposite of that and seeing what it would do.
Yeah.
And it made this really surreal stuff.
It's like the cloud captcha system.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nice. Yes, absolutely.
Cool.
Kind of like that. It was, so it kind of blew up. Everybody was throwing their own images in there, and it was becoming these like weird, trippy, like surrealist art pieces. Like, and that was like the first kind of step into using AI as kind of an art maker.
Yeah, and at the time, they were allowing people to submit their own photos to the database,
yes.
But dogs' faces kept showing up everywhere, and they deduced that people were sharing their dog pictures.
That too, yeah, and lots of eyes. Since there were so many faces, there were lots of eyes appearing.
There's at least 2 eyes in every...
Yeah. So the dog owners are sharers, where the cat owners are just like... They just like things about cats. They don't share their own pictures of cats.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which is kind of amazing considering how many cats are on the
I know, I'm just surprised it's not.
Deep Dream clearly has a preference.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Deep Dream's a dog person.
Google's AI has announced dogs are better than cats.
Dogs are better. Just objectively.
So they're taking this algorithm or something.
So it's kind of the same system. Sure. No, And it's called Magenta. It is this kind of group project that they've got going on. They're taking the same system, same kind of way of interpreting things, like taking in information and objects and like kind of adding that to its memory and then like having it spit out stuff in return. So they just announced this at the Moog conference, which is a conference for people who like synthesizers, I think, and
yes,
also
definitely it is.
And and like music technology. And they announced that they're going to be using the TensorFlow system to have the AI make music.
Okay.
So they had like a little demo where the fella introducing it to the audience just played like a couple notes, and the Google AI will take that and just kind of like play with that and just kind of like make a full-fledged melody.
So it's
out
just
of
like
it.
riffing.
Yeah,
It's
That
basically
is
like
so
riffing.
cool.
It
But
kind
what's
of-
really what I suspect, if it's anything like the Deep Dream, is it's consciously riffing. It's not just saying like maybe I'll try that. It's like
Right, it's like, oh,
doing
I'm going to
it based
use
on some kind
these
of-
chords and
Yeah.
like, I
Yeah.
want to see what this progression sounds
yeah,
like.
it figures
Right.
out like what key it's
That
in
is
and like
so
what the
cool.
rhythm is and like kind
So-
of what the tempo is going on.
What branch of Google is this? Is
I-
this through like DeepMind or?
I'm not sure. It's Magenta.
Deep Dream was the one from a year ago. I'm going to see if I
Yeah.
can find out right now.
Deep
Is
Dream
like,
was
does
like
Deep Dream still exist then?
yes, it does.
I mean, it's yeah.
yeah. This is just another application of it. Like this is just
Okay.
a different flavor of that.
Sure.
So yeah, instead of visually scanning things, they're just looking at waveforms and stuff.
That
Mhm.
is sweet.
It's taking in kind of the ideas of what music is. So they're putting this language, this like the I guess the code for it up for grabs right now. It's going to be open source as well for people to kind of play with. And they've got like an example, like full-fledged melody that it's come up with kind of after a few notes. And it actually sounds kind of cool. Like right now it's just,
Do you happen to have it?
I do. There is a link in the article that I posted.
All right, keep talking. I'll see if I can find it.
And like it's just like the keyboard. All it can do right now is the keyboard part. But what they suspect later on, once people play with this tool of the code, which is an interesting way of thinking about this, is that it's becoming another tool of art making. Code
Right.
is that maybe you can play with it and make like a drum beat to go with it, and then like have something harmonize with it, and then maybe like add some more other varieties of instruments like synthesized saxophones or organs or things like that, and eventually just create a whole song through code randomly.
I mean, isn't it not random though? Right?
Well, I mean,
I mean, it is
in this-
random, but like,
random in the sense that the human doesn't really have a lot of control over.
oh
it.
yeah, right.
Right.
But
Yeah.
this AI still needs a primer of a few notes. It's not just like I'm going to compose a piece.
You
a
need to give it
primer
a
or
little
a
something.
prompt or something.
Yeah.
You know, the equivalent of being like boom, boom, boom or something.
Okay.
Which at least, and I don't actually know that. I'm suspecting that because it's very similar to how it worked with the visual stuff. You at least
Okay.
had to give it like,
You gotta give it
look
something.
at this. Even if it was just noise, even if it was just an image of noise,
Mhm.
you know, it had to work off a beginning place.
Yeah.
I guess if you
Oh,
wanted,
you could do so many cool
could
things.
you add
though.
one extra step in the beginning of creating 4 random notes,
Yeah.
and then looping from there.
Okay,
Yeah,
but like,
fine, but
so now I'm getting way ahead of us here. But like,
That's what that's what they started doing. But go ahead.
what if eventually we like give this thing, I don't know, 5 million hours of like whale recordings, and we're like, yo, go talk to these blue whales,
Figure this
please.
out.
Someone figure
Oh,
it.
and it starts
you know what
finding
I
the
mean?
fingerprint of it.
Yes.
Starts to Siri the whales. Or it
Yes.
starts to like
Yes.
Whoa.
hive mind
Yes.
the whales.
Oh my
And then we put a
gosh.
little thing in our
Yes.
ears,
Yes.
and we talk to the whales.
Exactly.
Oh.
10 years. We're talking to
We're
whales.
talking to whales.
They're
Well-
already working on it with cats and dogs for pets.
Yeah, I have heard
Yep.
about that. You talked about that.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah, I think
Was that
so.
a newscast or was that just a maybe newscast?
I didn't do it as a newscast, but I remember we were talking about it as a maybe, and it might not have been Google, but like that idea exists and is being worked on.
Sweet. I love it. That's so cool.
Yeah. Well, actually, one of the ideas they had is that when you can also have it have knowledge of like what kind of music is associated with different like moods. So one example they had is when somebody's running and they're getting kind of exhausted and their heartbeat's way too high, that the algorithm could play something on your headphones while you're running that will kind of calm you down a little bit so you don't overexert yourself too much.
Interesting.
So taking that idea, you could also like maybe take the snippets of like what we know about whale language and be like, hey, this kind of call means this and this kind of means this.
Wait, no, what do you mean? This means this?
Like, I don't know, like this is like a sad
Okay.
whale and this is a happy whale.
Got it.
Like you could maybe like almost translate it like you were talking about.
Yeah,
like
right.
that could be
come
possible.
to us, we're friends, or go
Yeah.
away from us.
Yeah, just like have it kind of figure it out itself.
Or it just like ignores our directives and just like, bursts out to the whales like, get away from humanity.
Yeah.
Seriously.
For your lives.
Whales,
Run!
whales,
They're making me
Swim!
whales. I've put these jetpacks and like outside water
I have
breathable
wired
gear.
$50 billion.
And now you're my whale army.
Yeah.
And that's how AI does it. That's how AI
They
beats
get us with the
humanity.
whales.
They get us with
always
the
get you
whales.
I
with the
knew it.
whales.
I knew it.
Yeah. It's hard to run away from a falling whale.
So obviously this thing's kind of figuring out it's figuring out time signature, keys. You already said key signature.
Yeah.
If something's in 3/4/4/4. It's
Exactly.
trying to deduce that.
Mhm.
It's trying to deduce the scale, what key it's in, so then it knows like it might be interesting to do a chromatic, or it might be interesting to go to a third, or
And then it kind of figures out where it would be interesting to kind of go outside of that. In like the example one, there are a couple of points where it sounds like it's a wrong note, but in the scheme of it, it does sound right.
It's like jazz.
Yeah,
right.
It is like jazz.
That's cool.
That is actually my favorite thing about listening to good jazz music is
Yeah.
that it's incredibly interesting because
It'll throw things at
it's
you.
all
that you just-
about dancing. It's almost about like how much can you not play the melody with still evoking the melody. Like
Yeah.
if someone's doing a really good piano solo in jazz or a really good trumpet solo in jazz,
Yeah.
it's one of the most interesting things in the world to listen to if they're doing a good one. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Where it's
Yeah.
like, I've never heard, I feel that it's that song. I'm recognizing that sign, but they're not, you know what I mean? They know what they're doing. It's so cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's so easy just
It
to
shouldn't work, but it works, right?
Yeah. Like that's one of I hope this doesn't sound cheesy, but that's one of my favorite live music experiences is
Yes.
going to and listening to like jazz groups.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of cheesy, but if you get a good one where they're doing good solos, it's very interesting.
I mean, it's
Well-
so easy when you play like improv jazz to just like be like, okay, this is like the jazz scale that I have to play around with. Like, I'll just stay within these lines. But like really good improvisers will be like, I'm going to figure out where I can go outside of this. Just play out there a little bit.
and then if
still
this
make it
person
work.
if this person's going up a third or whatever, something simple, but they're staying there, the drummer might pick up on that and be like, oh, I'm going to ride the tom for a
So-
while
Yeah.
and stuff. It's very interesting.
So it sounds like this AI, when like the algorithm they're using and everything, they're not feeding it music yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
It is still in its very, very basic steps right now. That as far as what they can show.
Sure.
But that's why they have it open
This might help,
source,
Jake.
so people can take it and just totally.
Oh, the article.
I'm handing
Run
you
with
images of Deep
this is-
Dream.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like if you apply that as an audio metaphor, a visual metaphor for what they're doing with the audio.
Mhm.
And so you can see how it looks at a bunch of images, and then from a database of what it knows about all those images, it tries to reapply its knowledge to other images. Now, the most interesting ones that happened with Deep Dream were the ones that were basically random or like noise, but people had fun, and they'll also send through an actual face, as you can see.
or like starring.
And those are a
or
little bit
something.
less interesting,
Mhm.
So I wonder if they could feed a song. Could you take a pop song and turn it into a jazz song using this algorithm?
I mean,
It could happen.
you
We at this point, everything is possible.
Mhm.
Everything is possible right now.
there are rules to like music and composition, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of like the other angle where I was covering and V, you were covering as well.
Yeah, where it just
DeepMind
becomes-
with Go, where
Yeah.
AlphaGo just started playing against itself.
Yeah.
Right.
So if like you get enough, if you could like digitize, they probably already have, right? You digitize like the greatest composer ever, dump it all into the AI and be like, all right, here's music.
What's this
What
called?
can you do?
Is this called Deep anything?
Right now,
I don't know. Because Deep Dream,
It's just
Deep
called
Mind, that can't be a
Magenta right
coincidence.
Yeah,
The
it
Deep
feels
might be
it's
like a
all
loose
deep.
branding
Yeah.
of what's going on here.
Yeah,
Could be.
it doesn't have a very good name. It's the group that's working with the code that Google had
Yeah.
is called Magenta.
Oh, right,
Okay.
right.
The code is called TensorFlow, because that's what the process of interpreting the information is
Okay.
called. It's not capable of a whole lot yet. They say it's not capable of narrative arcs in their music.
Okay.
It's just the very basics right now. It's like,
But that's a start.
You put in notes and go, give me a melody. It's not
sure.
giving you full compositions yet, but it has time to learn.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
And it'll learn really quick.
It will.
Sweet. That's awesome, V.
Seen. Yeah.
That's
Chris
cool.
Lee, do you have any thoughts? Sorry, David.
Wow, I got a little co-host tonight. I'm fine with it.
So actually,
David's out.
I started,
Ladies, how's it going?
I got quiet for a second because I started trying to see if I could figure out
Priscilla,
why
do you
it
have
was
any
called
thoughts?
Magenta. Because the thing with Deep Dream, like those images all look like a dream.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was just real quick thinking like maybe there's like a reason for it being called Magenta. And if there is, I can't find it. So
I looked for that MP3.
There's
by the way.
that.
I couldn't find it. V.
Oh,
Do you have it?
I have it right here.
Play it up onto the microphone.
Oh, okay. Well, give me one.
Because I want to hear if this sounds like, turn your volume all the way up and play it. Hold it up to your microphone.
Totally will.
Because I suspect that if you, the reason I thought about this,
And then we make it
Crystal Lee,
really
is
sound good
because
in post.
it might be. Yeah, it's like zoop, zoop, zap, boop, zap, da. What the heck?
It's like Coltrane. This is the AI.
Yes.
It's officially better than I am at music.
It's
So there's patterns.
Mhm.
The drum beat is added in post, but
Yep.
playing with time there. Sure.
it does those little. It steps off a little bit from that track.
Yeah, there's a little bit too.
I'd listen to this. I gotta be honest, in a weird way.
Yeah, does it have a like Google Play like artist yet?
Listen to this. Like it's really playing with it right now. With that melody.
They're just taking the play with it dial and cranking it up
Yeah.
higher and
Turn it up to 11, man.
higher. That's cool, V.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And
That's
that-
actually
it
way
goes on
better
for,
than
like-
I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it goes on
honestly.
for like
I thought
20
it
more
was gonna be
seconds. Yeah.
I really did.
Like a little kid, like sitting on like a little toy piano, going boom, 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 boom. I got all the right notes, guys. Yeah.
Once it knew its time, it stayed in that time. And
Yeah. And then it
time
kind of it
signature.
split up the notes even more, and it started like varying
half.
like the
coming in on the 8th or something.
yeah, like that. That's so cool to me.
That's
That is
awesome.
neat. All right, guys, let's get to break, and we're going to come back and talk about robot lawyers. I mean, artificial intelligence
Yeah.
lawyers. It's so easy to accidentally say the sci-fi.
We just
in
want
me
them to be.
says robot.
I was
you know
just
what I
gonna
mean?
say it's
Yeah.
because we want it in a robot.
And another thing
Yeah.
for me, like I so often I think about bots, code bots, and I think about those being kind of like robots. They're technically not, you know what I mean? But that's why I often say robot. But we're going to be talking about an artificial intelligent lawyer, also by Google.
Nope.
Not
Watson.
by Google. Oh, Watson. Specifically IBM, or is it?
Specifically IBM.
All right.
All right.
We'll go to break and talk about that in part 3.
Cool.
Until then, let's see. V, if people want to find this amazing song, they can find that link on our website at technophilespodcast.com, or they can tweet to you directly
Yeah. At bear_Annika.
Fantastic. We love it when people tweet the show at Technophiles Pod. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Facebook, and YouTube by searching Technophiles Podcast. And I think that's it, guys. I think we'll get out of here.